A very good morning. It's just past 8 this 5th October morning and we're back again with Breakfast Show. I'm Anil Thomas. Over the next 1 hour, we'll take you through the major happenings across India and the globe from the field of politics, business and sports. Also our regular segment on health and weather. Our top focus over the day, concrete steps helps Delhi and NCR region pollution levels dip from severe to very poor category. Prime Minister Narendra Modi returning home from Thailand as India storms out of the regional comprehensive economic partnership, citing the trade deal hurts Indian farmers. We'll be getting live inputs from our team of correspondents to the top stories. But first up this Tuesday morning, the headlines we're tracking at the top of this hour. India decides not to join the regional comprehensive economic partnership. Prime Minister Modi tells RCEP summit in Bangkok that the agreement does not reflect its original intent and that the outcome is not fair or balanced. Lauding India's decision to not sign RCEP, Home Minister Amit Shah says it is a result of Prime Minister Modi's strong leadership. BJP says India did not bow down to global pressure, unlike previous Congress-led governments. In a big relief to residents of NCR, pollution level dips from severe to very poor category. Met Department says situation likely to improve tomorrow and day after due to favorable weather conditions. Suspense continues over the formation of government in Maharashtra. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis says new government will be formed soon. Shiv Sena terms meeting with governor as a courtesy call. NCP Chief Sharad Pawar meets Congress President Sonia Gandhi. In international news, in the ongoing impeachment inquiry against US President Trump, 2 US diplomats in testimony say that the State Department was being used for domestic political purposes. And in sports, Rafael Nadal secures the #1 spot for the 8th time in his career. The Spaniard goes up for 1 place in the ATP rankings to supersede Novak Djokovic as the new world #1. And now for the stories in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi concluded his historic visit to Thailand, where he participated in ASEAN and related summits, encapsulating principles of neighborhood first, Act East and Indo-Pacific discussions with leaders from the region. Keeping national interest about geopolitical treaties, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took a firm stand and led from the front as India decided to not join the regional comprehensive economic partnership. Prime Minister Modi took the stand after it became clear that the final RCEP document will not address issues that were considered non-negotiable by India. It was also said that the RCEP agreement with China and ASEAN countries do not reflect its original intent and the outcome is not fair or balanced.
The world had its eyes on the outcome of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. The agreement would have been the world's largest free trade zone. However, post the 3rd edition of RCEP summit, India decided not to join RCEP owing to unresolved issues between India and the partner nations. Taking a firm stand, Prime Minister Modi asserted that India will not become a part of the agreement until it gets a fair and balanced deal. Prime Minister said, India stands for greater regional integration as well as for freer trade and adherence to rule-based international order. India has proactively, constructively and meaningfully engaged in RCEP negotiations since inception. The present form of RCEP agreement does not fully reflect the basic spirit and the agreed guiding principles of RCEP, it also does not address satisfactorily India's outstanding issues and concerns. In such a situation, it is not possible for India to join RCEP agreement.
India conveyed its decision at the summit not to join the RCEP agreement. This reflects both our assessment of the current global situation as well as of the fairness and balance of the agreement. India had significant issues of core interest that remained unresolved. In his remarks on this subject, Prime Minister highlighted that he was guided by the impact it would have on the lives and livelihoods of all Indians, especially vulnerable sections of society.
Prime Minister made it clear that our farmers, traders, professionals and industries have stakes in such decisions. Equally important are the workers and consumers who make India a huge market and the third biggest economy in terms of purchasing power parity. When I measure RCEP agreement with respect to the interest of all Indians, I do not get a positive answer. Therefore, neither the talisman of Gandhiji nor my own conscience permits me to join RCEP. According to the Free Trade Agreement, the regulations for import and export of goods will be eased. Under this agreement, the member states will have to reduce taxes and build an ecosystem conducive to trade. Post the signing of agreement, the member states will get an increased access of goods and services amongst each other. Apart from the 10 ASEAN member states, India, China, Japan, Australia, New Zealand and South Korea were to be part of the RCEP agreement.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has once again proved beyond doubt that when it comes to national interests and protecting them, there shall not be any compromise at all, even if that means taking a firm stand against all, even if that means swimming against the tide, and even if that means going alone. For those who walk alone, inevitably walk faster. With camera person Krishna Kumar Rana and my colleague Vibhav Rai, Ravidhima, DD News, Bangkok, Thailand.
While Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that India's decision to be not part of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership is a result of Prime Minister Modi's strong leadership and unflinching resolve to ensure national interest in all circumstances. Amit Shah in a tweet said that India's decision to not sign RCEP is a result of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's strong leadership and unflinching resolve to ensure national interest in all circumstances. It shall ensure the support of to our farmers, MSMEs, dairy and manufacturing sector, pharmaceutical, steel and chemical industries. He said that Prime Minister Modi's firm stand over the years of not going ahead with a deal if our interests are not taken care of is a welcome break from the past, where a weak UPA government ceded precious ground on trade and could not protect national interest. Lauding India's decision to not sign the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, Union Minister J.P. Nadda said that it is a result of Prime Minister Modi's decisive leadership. In a tweet, he said that Prime Minister Modi has always kept in mind the interest of stakeholders, including farmers, dairy sector, manufacturers and MSMEs. Nadda also said that India did not bow down to global pressure, unlike previous Congress-led governments which opened Indian markets through weak FTAs. On the sidelines of the 35th ASEAN Summit in Thailand, Prime Minister also held a number of bilateral meetings with various other world leaders. His meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was an important one, where the two leaders discussed a number of issues, including bilateral cooperation in several areas. Besides, Prime Minister Modi held bilateral meetings with the Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc and Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and discussed issues of mutual interest. The Prime Minister had several bilateral meetings over the last 3 days and found common ground to unresolved crucial issues, keeping mutual benefit in mind. The leaders at the East Asia Summit also agreed to further strengthen cooperation among member states. The leaders adopted 3 statements, including partnership for sustainability, combating the spread of illicit drugs and cooperation to combat transnational crimes.
East Asia Summit, the leaders reaffirmed their commitment to the further strengthening of the EAS, and 3 statements were adopted by the leaders. One on partnership for sustainability, combating the spread of illicit drugs and cooperation to combat transnational crimes. These were adopted, and to combat the spread of illicit drugs. So these were the 3 statements which were adopted by the leaders.
In his address at the 14th East Asia Summit in Bangkok, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also proposed a new initiative to create a safe and secure maritime domain in the Indo-Pacific region. India will host a EAS seminar on maritime security and cooperation in Chennai in 2020. The 4-day-long India International Science Festival 2019 begins in Kolkata today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 5th edition of the festival at the Bishwa Bangla Convention Centre through video conference. The prime objective of the festival is to install scientific temper among the mass, showcase India's contribution in the field of science and technology over the years, and encourage translation of its benefits to people. The festival also aims at building a strategy for inclusive advancement of science and technology. Union Science and Technology Minister Harshvardhan, state ministers, scientists and academicians will take part in the celebration of science. Well, for more on the story, Shreya, our correspondent tracking that event for us, joins us on the phone line from Kolkata. Shreya, good morning. Shreya, what's special about this time's International Science Festival, the 5th edition of the festival? What's special this time around?
Good morning, Anil, and to all our viewers. Well, I'd answer your question, Anil, with a quote by Dr. Vikram Sarabhai when he said that development of a nation depends on the scientific temper of its people, and that's what this year's India International Science Festival aims to do. It aims to revive that romance of science and reignite the scientific temper in our children and in the citizens of our country. This time around, it's a 4-day event, like you said. It is supposed to be one of the world's largest science gatherings with 28 very interesting events lined up across the 4 days. And if I could just name a few, there is a student science village, there is a young scientists conference, there is a Northeast student scientists conclave, there is a women scientist entrepreneur and entrepreneur conclave, these kind of festival obviously aim to promote the kind of awareness we want to have in our country about science and technology, but it also aims to break that fear which a lot of us have, that science is about complexities, it's about protons and atoms. It basically aims to show how STEM, that is science, technology, engineering and mathematics, provide solutions for our daily lives. Science can be there for something as simple as walking down the street or pulling a rickshaw, or even, the curtains hanging in our house. It's as simple as that. And that's what this festival aims to do this time around too. And for those of us who, are not very keen on the complex scientific activities that will be going around the festival, there's also a film festival which will showcase the science films. There's also Vigyanika, which is the science literature festival. And for the differently able, for Divyangjan, there is also a new age tech show. So a lot lined up in this year's festival, and the Prime Minister will be inaugurating it today evening. We will, of course, get you the latest from the festival as and when it happens.
Shreya, talking about the festival and scientists there, women have a major role to play, especially in India. Women scientists, taking a major workload when it comes to India growing in the field of science and technology. Is there a window that they will be showcased there in this particular festival?
Absolutely, Anil. Like I mentioned, there is a women scientist and entrepreneur conclave, and they will be there. We know that women have broken the glass ceiling over the years in the field of science and technology, whether it was Mangalyaan or the most recent Chandrayaan 2. And in this festival too, they have been given a lot of space. There will be women scientists, young scientists, as well as veterans of the field who will be showcasing their research, their innovations, and sharing their experiences with the participants. And very interestingly and most importantly, the youngsters will be taking part in it. There are about 12,000 college and school students expected to attend the event, where they will not just get hands-on, experience of science activities, but they will also be able to interact with all of these scientists, women scientists, veterans of the field, and of course young scientists who are emerging in the field. Anil?
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us this morning with those updates there on the 5th India International Science Festival that's all set to begin today evening in Kolkata. Moving ahead, the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Dr. P.K. Mishra, reviewed once again the measures taken by the states of Punjab, Haryana and Delhi to tackle air pollution. Dr. Mishra sought to know the details of additional measures taken to check fresh cases of fire and stubble burning in these states during the last 24 hours. The Chief Secretary Punjab stated that he is personally monitoring the situation with Deputy Commissioners of various districts where hotspots have been identified. He added that FIRs are also being registered for the violation of the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. The state government is taking strict action by enforcing the necessary fines for incidents of violation of the said act. The Chief Secretary Haryana stated that the Chief Minister has directed all concerned to reduce the cases of stubble burning in the state at the earliest. She mentioned that the teams are in the field round the clock to control the cases of air pollution. The Chief Secretary Delhi stated that water sprinkling has been intensified and identified hotspots and corridors are being focused upon to improve the situation. Open dumping of garbage in the city has been stopped and maximum fine is being imposed and collected from the violators of these norms. Indian Meteorological Department indicated that the weather conditions are likely to remain favorable over the next few days. The Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister emphasized the importance of preemptive action as necessary. He said there is a need to establish a mechanism for immediate action. He appreciated the efforts being taken by all concerned and mentioned that after taking short-term measures, a system will be put in place for a permanent long-term solution. Meanwhile, pollution levels in the national capital dipped on Monday, moving from severe to very poor category with an increase in the wind speed, which reduced the noxious haze that obscured Delhi skies for around a week. Weather experts said that the two main reasons for the improvement in air quality are increased wind speed and no cloud cover. The situation is likely to improve further today with wind speed increasing further, and the Met Department also saying that Cyclone Maha and a western disturbance will cause rainfall in parts of northern plains covering Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh and Delhi NCR region for tomorrow and the day after, and the situation will improve further. Meanwhile, Uttar Pradesh Chief Secretary Rajendra Kumar Tiwari on Monday directed the respective commissioners and district magistrates to strictly comply with rules related to stubble burning to check air pollution in the state. The Chief Secretary, who was holding a video conference with the commissioners and district magistrates of various districts in Lucknow, directed them to take all necessary steps to ensure that all rules are followed strictly in this regard. Additional Chief Secretary Renuka Kumar has also sent a letter to all district magistrates asking if the cases of stubble burning by farmers had been monitored in the revenue records and what action has been taken against the revenue department employees for flouting these directions. Meanwhile, Supreme Court has issued a slew of directions to the Delhi NCR, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh governments to curb the alarming pollution levels in Delhi and the National Capital Region. The Supreme Court also summoned the Chief Secretaries of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh on November 6th, saying the time has come to fix accountability for this kind of situation. Here's what they were.
Supreme Court on Monday said people in Delhi NCR are losing precious years of their lives and cannot be left to die due to the atrocious pollution situation that reflects a shocking state of affairs. The court directed neighbouring Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh to stop stubble burning. The top court also stopped all construction and demolition activities as well as garbage and waste burning in the Delhi National Capital Region till further orders. Passing a slew of directions to curb alarming pollution levels in Delhi NCR, it said citizens cannot be evacuated from the national capital amid reports that people have been advised not to visit the city and leave it due to environmental hazard. The apex court also questioned the implementation of odd-even scheme. The court asked how it was a viable option when it would only lead to increased use of autos and taxis. It also questioned the Delhi government's failure to add 3,000 buses to the transport system as promised. The court stipulated that breaking the ban on construction activity would entail a fine of 1 lakh rupees, while a fine of 5,000 rupees would be charged for burning of garbage. The court also sternly directed central and state governments to take strong action instead of indulging in a blame game. Supreme Court has summoned Chief Secretaries of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh on November 6th over stubble burning issues in their states. Union Environment Minister Prasar Bharati lashed out at the AAP government, asking whether it was following the Central Pollution Control Board's directives aimed at combating the severe air pollution in the national capital. He further said that while the central government had spent 1,100 crores to help farmers in this regard, the AAP government had spent 1,500 crore rupees on advertisements.
CPCB ने जितने आदेश दिए हैं दिल्ली सरकार वो देखे और उसमें से कितने का पालन किया है ये बताए, और वो कह रहे हैं कि और मशीन क्यों नहीं दे रहे, 22 लाख किसान हैं तो 40,000 मशीन क्यों दे रहे, तो हमने तो 1100 करोड़ दिए, ये 1500 करोड़ रुपए एडवर्टीजमेंट में बेकार करने के बजाय दिल्ली सरकार दिल्ली का प्रदूषण कम होने के लिए 1500 करोड़ किसानों को क्यों नहीं देती।
Delhi is choking under the impact of severe pollution, and the apex court's rap could lead to better results as it slammed authorities both at the centre and states. With Vikas Sarthi, Shailendra Mishra, DD India.
Well, moving to government formation in Maharashtra, where hectic parleys are underway in Maharashtra for the government formation in the state. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis met BJP President Amit Shah in Delhi, while Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut visited the Raj Bhavan in Mumbai and met the governor. However, Shiv Sena leader maintained that it was a courtesy call to the governor. Besides, the NCP leader Sharad Pawar too met Congress interim President Sonia Gandhi in New Delhi. Nonetheless, the suspense continues over the government formation in the state. After a number of rapid developments, the turmoil over the government formation in Maharashtra has finally reached Delhi. It now remains to be seen how the final picture shapes up and who finally steers the helm of the state. In the 50th International Film Festival of India in Goa, 190 films from 76 countries will be screened. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said this film festival would showcase the glimpse of cultural heritage of Goa and other parts of the country. He said superstar Rajnikant would be honored with a special icon of Golden Jubilee of IFFI 2019.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय फिल्म महोत्सव गोवा में 20 नवंबर से 28 नवंबर तक संपन्न होगा। रजनीकांत को स्पेशल आइकॉन अवार्ड IFFI 50 का दिया गया है, उन्होंने स्वीकार भी किया है, और वो उद्घाटन के कार्यक्रम में अमिताभ बच्चन जी भी रहेंगे, उनके द्वारा उद्घाटन का कार्यक्रम में वो होंगे, और उसके साथ रजनीकांत भी होंगे, उनको ये अवार्ड दिया जाएगा, तो ये एक बेहतर संयोग होगा।
Prakash Javadekar also said that this festival, which is going to be held between the 20th to the 28th of November, for the first time Konkani films would be screened.
गोवा के कोंकणी फिल्म्स 7 कोंकणी फिल्म्स को दिखाया जाएगा। तो गोवा में इतने सालों से फिल्म फेस्टिवल होता है, लेकिन कोंकणी फिल्मों का अलग सेक्शन नहीं था, वो हम दे रहे हैं। और इस बार गोवा सरकार ने 4 एडिशनल स्क्रीन्स दिए हैं, तो लगभग 100 ज़्यादा फिल्में देखने का मौका लोगों को मिलेगा।
Well, moving to international stories, two U.S. diplomats told lawmakers that the State Department was being used for domestic political purposes under President Trump and warned that would hurt American interests. This was stated in the transcripts released yesterday from the Congress impeachment investigation. Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Maria Yanovich, was abruptly recalled as U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine after a smear campaign by Trump allies. In a testimony also released on Monday, she said that the State Department was being attacked and hollowed out from within, and that's not rebuilding it would harm the United States. The Democratic-led House investigation is focused on a July 25th phone call in which Trump asked the Ukraine president to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden, a leading Democratic rival, as Trump seeks re-election in November 2020. The committees began releasing interview transcripts as they prepare for public hearings this month. Trump has denied wrongdoing and accused Democrats of unfairly targeting him to reverse his surprise election victory in 2016. The United States has formally notified the United Nations of its intention to withdraw from the Paris Agreement. The notification began as a one-year process of exiting the Global Climate Change Accord, culminating the day after the 2020 U.S. elections. The agreement brought together 188 nations to combat climate change. Announcing the plan last month, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said the agreement had imposed an unfair economic burden on the United States. British lawmakers elected Labour leader Lindsay Hoyle as the Speaker on Monday to take on the role of refereeing the next parliamentary installment of the protracted struggle over Brexit. She replaced John Bercow. In the last 3 years since Britain voted to leave the European Union, the Speaker has played an increasingly influential role in the process of parliamentarians debating the rights and wrongs of Brexit and passing the laws needed to implement it. With the national election coming on December 12th, the new Speaker's first job will depend on what government the public elect. A day after Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said that its ban on talks with the United States will not be lifted, the United States slapped sanctions on 9 of its aides. The targeted individuals include a number of prominent Iranians who have been accused by Washington of repression at home and exporting terrorism overseas. The sanctions mean that any U.S. assets held by the individuals will be blocked, and financial dealings with them will become a crime for anyone under the U.S. jurisdiction. The move was timed to occur on the anniversary of the 1979 takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, which had been a close ally of Washington under the deposed Western-oriented Shah. Turkey has captured the older sister of the slain leader of the Islamic State group in northwestern Syria, calling the arrest an intelligence gold mine. Little is known about the sister of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. The Turkish official said that the 65-year-old, known as Rasmiya Awad, was captured in a raid on Monday on a trailer container she was living in with her family in the town of Azaz. The area is part of the region administered by Turkey. Al-Baghdadi was killed in a U.S. raid in a nearby province of Idlib last month. Iraqi security forces have killed at least 5 people and wounded dozens when they opened fire on protesters in Baghdad on Monday, as thousands took to the streets which is the largest wave of anti-government protests for decades in Baghdad. Demonstrations also took place in several other locations, including the main Gulf port, Qasr, and southern Shatra, where security forces also killed a protester. More than 250 Iraqis have been killed in demonstrations since the start of October against a government which they see as corrupt and beholden to foreign interests. In Syria, at least 3 people were killed and 4 injured during airstrikes which were carried out by Syrian government forces. On October 31st, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad had announced the end of the big battles to take over the province of Idlib, the last stronghold of the rebels who want to overthrow him, while expressing his determination to restore the authority of the country. Well, time now to get Achal on board to get us the latest in the world of business.
Well, thank you very much, Anil. And today is the second trading day session. That's Tuesday. Let's have a look at those news which are making headlines in the world of business. And first, we are going to talk about RBI. RBI has told private banks to raise the variable portion of remuneration to at least half of the total for their chief executives and whole-time directors so that the top management rewards reflect the pay for performance principles. The RBI has also streamlined the clawback rules for whole-time directors and material risk takers to penalize them if future financial performance falters and discourage excessive risk-taking for short-term gains. The new rules are applicable to private sector banks, including local area banks, small finance banks and payment banks from April 1st, 2020. Now, good move for LIC policy holders in a move that will help improve persistency ratio. LIC yesterday permitted its policy holders to revive their lapsed policies of over 2 years. There are circumstances when one is unable to continue paying premiums and the policy lapses, and it always makes a better sense to revive an old policy rather than discontinuing it and buying a new policy to restore insurance cover. Buying life insurance is one of the most prudent decisions a person takes in life. LIC said it values each of its policy holders, and this is a huge, unique opportunity for LIC policy holders to revive the policies that could not be revived in the past and restore life cover to ensure financial security. And now news from Dalal Street. Sensex rose for a 7th straight session and scaled new closing highs yesterday, boosted by gains in global shares as hopes of US-China trade deal kept investor sentiment upbeat. Better than expected quarterly earnings also boosted equities. This was Dalal Street's longest winning streak since March. Sensex shut shop at 40,301 yesterday. Market breadth was positive as gainers beat the losers in the ratio. Metal and telecom indices led the gainers back. And that's all we have in this edition of Finance World. Back to Anil Thomas for more other news updates.
Thank you, Achal, for the updates from the world of business. Time now to shift focus to sports, where Nadal is back as the top of the world in the latest ATP rankings released on Monday. Nadal climbed above Novak Djokovic, who won his 5th Paris Masters on the same day. The semis run in the same championship in Paris was enough for Nadal to become the second oldest player to top the rankings after Roger Federer, who achieved the feat at the age of 36 in 2018. Nadal withdrew last minute before a semi-final match against Denis Shapovalov due to an abdominal muscle strain. He won 2 Grand Slams this year, including the French and the US Open. And now pressure will be on Nadal to play the upcoming year-ending ATP World Tour title in London to defend his #1 crown. Well, staying with tennis but moving to Davis Cup, International Tennis Federation agreed to ITA's Davis Cup demand and moved that particular outing from Pakistan. The International Tennis Federation on Monday decided to shift India's Davis Cup tie from Islamabad to a neutral venue, citing safety concerns. The All India Tennis Association had made repeated requests to the world governing body to shift the November 29-30th tie to a neutral venue. The tie was scheduled to be held in September but was delayed when India expressed concerns over the safety of its players due to the prevailing diplomatic tensions between the two nations. The contest has already begun, rescheduled for November 29th to 30th now. Indian badminton players PV Sindhu and Saina Nehwal will begin their campaign at the China Open badminton tournament beginning in Fuzhou today. 6th seed Sindhu, who claimed the World Championship gold in August, will begin her campaign against Germany's Yong Li, while 8th seeded Saina will open against China's Kai Yan. All eyes will also be on the men's doubles pair of Satwik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty, who had reached the finals at the French Open last month. Former world #1 Kidambi Srikanth has pulled out of this particular tournament in China. Well, to make fitness a way of life and support the Fit India movement, the Akhil Bharatiya Netrahin Sangh, a blind school in Delhi's Raghubir Nagar, is training their students to practice yoga in their daily work routine. These days, the level of pollution has increased a lot in such a way to keep yourself fit by staying at your home and practice yoga.
Yoga is a way of living that aims towards a healthy mind in a healthy body and helps promote a balanced development. Practicing yoga might seem just like stretching, but it can do more for your body from the way you feel, look and move. Akhil Bharatiya Netrahin Sangh, a blind school in Delhi's Raghubir Nagar, is helping people to live healthy. Yoga Acharya Hemant Sharma is trying his bit to keep visually impaired children fit and motivated with the help of yoga. Yoga is not only a practice for general public, but a medium of fitness for these young children too. It helps in increasing flexibility, muscle strength and body tone. It improves respiration, energy and vitality. And they are enjoying it very well. These visually impaired children consider yoga as core of fitness. They are adopting yoga practice very fast in order to achieve positive thoughts and career goals in life. The art of practicing yoga helps in controlling an individual's mind, body and soul. It brings together physical and mental discipline to achieve a peaceful body and mind. Sports Desk, DD News.
Well, let's now take a look at the top stories published in the national dailies in the national capital. And our first look is at the Indian Express on the inside pages. We've got an interesting story on Delhi begins to odd even against pollution. Day one of the odd even test and it goes off smoothly. Carpool emerges as the most preferred choice for many. On board buses, we are talking about DTC buses. The ridership saw a jump on the odd even day on its first day. 8.27 lakh ridership till 4 p.m. That's 40%. 40% of those were women. And 6.97 lakh people took buses till 4 p.m. On that particular day. Cluster buses till around 4 p.m. 2.66 lakh people had, that was the ridership that was noted till 4 p.m. on November 4th on cluster buses. Surely, so carpooling, the best option that people see to survive or to overcome this particular odd even ban that's been put in the national capital to overcome the troubles of pollution. Our next look is at the Hindu, and on the front page we've got an interesting story on the farmers in Haryana. The paper getting a view from the farmers in Haryana who say, compensate us, don't treat us like criminals. According to the farmers in Haryana, it would be a great option that if the government start linking cutting of paddy stock and clearing of fields after combined harvesting with Manrega, that's the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Schemes. So, you know, to deal with the problem effectively, the farmers, they're clearly coming out in the open and saying that that could be a great move and that could help the farmers and also help overcome this particular problem. He says these days Parelli has been used for a lot of other purposes. So you don't see that kind of stubble burning, but it's high time that, you know, the farmer gets compensated and don't treat them like criminals as it is painted to be in today's times. Our final look is from the Economic Times, and on the inside pages we've got an interesting story on bad news for school-going kids, but you know, bad news purely in terms of, you know, colas, chips, burgers to be banned in school cafeterias come December. You got to eat it right. FSSAI has framed that the Food Safety and Standards has decided to frame quality guidelines here for safe food and health diets for school children. Regulations, this is 2019. It bans the sale and marketing of junk food inside schools and within 50 meters of school campuses. This regulation is going to come into effect from December this year. So packaged juices, pizzas, samosas are all going to be, you know, there's going to be a huge clamp down on junk food, and all this, wherever it's served or wherever it's available in and around schools, it's going to be out of the window. So surely a good move or a right move in the right direction, especially when it comes to junk food and keeping children away from junk food. Well, after a look at the national dailies, it's time now to take a look at history and all the important events that took place on this very day, 5th of November.
It was on this day in 1850 that the first telegraph message was transmitted in India live through electrical signals between Calcutta and Diamond Harbour. It was on this day in 1870 that Chitranjan Das, founder leader of the Swaraj Party in Bengal under British rule, was born in Bikrampur, Dhaka. He was also known for his struggle for independence. Chitranjan Das is generally referred as Deshbandhu, which means friend of the nation. It was on this day in 1996 that the US President Bill Clinton won a second term over former Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole. Clinton won about 50% of the popular vote and 375 electoral votes. Republican candidate Bob Dole got 43% and 135 electoral votes. It was on this day in 2013 that the Indian Space Research Organisation launched Mars Orbit Mission, popularly known as Mangalyaan, from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota using a polar satellite launch vehicle, rocket C-25. India became fourth country after US, Russia and Europe to reach the Red Planet and first country to successfully launch a Mars mission on its first go.
Well, after a look at the past, it's time to come back to the present and take a look at the events listed for today.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Russian Minister of Industry and Trade Denis Mantrov is scheduled to address defence industry representatives at India-Russia Defence Industry Cooperation Conference in Moscow. P. Sridhar Pillai is scheduled to take oath as the new governor of Mizoram at the Raj Bhavan in Aizawl. Punjab government is scheduled to begin free bus service for Sangat coming to visit Sultanpur Lodi during the 550th Prakash Purab celebrations of Sahib Sri Guru Nanak Dev.
Well, time now to take a look at the health story of the day. Since children are still growing, air pollution harms them during the development stage of their life, causing lifelong health problems. Exposure to air pollution at a very young age can hinder lung growth, imbibe the brain development and increase the risk of conditions such as asthma. Let's take a look.
Air pollution affects people of all age groups, but children are most vulnerable to negative effects of air pollution due to their higher breathing rate to body size ratio and less developed natural barriers in the lungs.
You could have more irritation in your throat. You could have a blocked nose, you could have a running nose, you could have cough, you could have respiratory distress, you could have rapid breathing. If you are suffering from asthma, maybe it could precipitate an attack.
It is important to identify the signs of respiratory problem in a child and get immediate treatment to avoid complications.
If your child is breathing fast, if your child is not able to feed properly, if your child develops any bluishness of the hands or lips, or if your child is breathing very hard and there is a hollowness of the chest when he breathes in, then this is a child who will not get better only with cough syrups. This is a child who is to be seen by a doctor and to be treated appropriately. Sometimes may need even hospitalization and oxygenation.
Taking precautions may help to protect your child from the harmful effects of air pollution.
As for older children, avoid going to places which are crowded, which are polluted. Do not expose your child unnecessarily to outdoor pollution. But remember, sometimes the air inside may not be safe. If somebody in your family smokes, or if you use a lot of strong fumes, or if you have a kitchen which is very smoky, then your child is still getting exposed to an air pollution. Therefore, it is very important that we take care of these things which are within our control and not expose our small child to these situations.
Preventive measures are must to make the environment pollution free and ensure a healthy future for children. Kiran Bhardwaj, DD News.
We all know how dangerous plastic is for our environment. UNDP India and other organizations have come together to encourage people to give up on plastic and opt for more environment-friendly material for daily use. Wouldn't it be great if someone took our plastic waste away and gave us gifts in return? Well, here's more on the special initiative to curb plastic use in the national capital. This story has been shot and edited entirely on a mobile phone by our correspondent, Shubhendu Ghosh.
Connaught Place in the heart of the national capital. It is here that a unique plastic waste management initiative is underway by UNDP India in partnership with other stakeholders. Bring your waste plastic bag to the Swachhata Kendra and get colorful environment-friendly cloth bags in return. Beautiful products made of recycled plastic are also available for exchange.
सामने प्लास्टिक के बारे में हम एक कैंपेन चला रहे हैं, प्लास्टिक लाओ थैला पाओ। जैसे लोगों ने हमें प्लास्टिक देते हैं उनको हम क्लॉथ बैग दे देते हैं। हम 3 अक्टूबर से स्टार्ट किया, अभी तक हमारे पास 2 टन के ऊपर से प्लास्टिक कनेक्शन हुए। ये हम रिसाइकलिंग के लिए दे रहे हैं। जैसे रिसाइकलिंग होके इसमें पोस्टर बन के आते हैं, इससे अन्य और चीज़ बना हुआ है।
The people admire the recycled bags and coasters on display. They also appreciate the intention behind the initiative.
बहुत बढ़िया स्कीम है आप लोगों का। इससे हमारे को प्लास्टिक भी कम हो जाएगी मार्केट में और लोगों को थैले भी मिल जाएंगे। वो अच्छी बात है, कम से कम लोग प्लास्टिक यूज़ करना बंद करेंगे और ये थैले यूज़ करेंगे तो अच्छा है, हमारे एनवायरनमेंट के लिए भी अच्छा है।
The local municipality is also doing their bit to support the program. They bring large quantity of segregated plastic from nearby shops every day.
हम सब लोग लगे हुए हैं ताकि हम सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक को बैन करें और हम एक एक चुन कर हर गली सड़क मोहल्ले कहीं भी सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक मिलता है हम उसको बीनते हैं, कलेक्ट करते हैं, पिकिंग करते हैं और उसको हम करते हैं। तो प्रधानमंत्री जी के हम इस मुहिम में लगातार बढ़ रहे हैं और हम सक्षम और हम आगे।
With plastic use growing at 10% every year, India faces a major challenge of plastic disposal. Visitors to Swachhata Kendra also take a pledge to protect Mother Earth from plastic. While India has committed to end the scourge of single-use plastic, initiatives like this, Plastic Lao Thela Le Jao, is a crucial one to ensure a greener environment and a cleaner planet. Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India.
Central government's Mudra Yojana helping people to get loan without any security for the startups. Many unemployed youth are being benefited with the scheme. The scheme has been providing employment to many. How a woman from a drought-prone Anantapur received a boon from the scheme, let's see in this ground report.
Gayatri, a resident of Anantapur district of Andhra Pradesh, used to work in a carbonated drink production factory. But she and her husband could hardly earn enough to provide even basic facilities for their children. Gayatri then learned of the Mudra Yojana from her friends and obtained 50,000 rupees under the scheme as loan. She opened a small general store at home and started earning well. Soon, she acquired an additional loan of another 1 lakh rupees to expand her business.
Earlier I was working in a carbonated drink production factory. That time I was not able to provide basic facilities to my children. But thanks to Mudra Yojana, I am now earning well.
With the help of Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, Gayatri is now earning enough to take care of her family's needs. Gayatri and many others like her are thanking the Modi government for the scheme. Bureau Report, DD News.
Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana is hugely benefiting the farmers of the country. The scheme introduced by the centre provides financial assistance to marginal farmers. Under the scheme, 6,000 rupees are directly transferred to the bank accounts of farmers in 1 year. Farmers of Resi district in Jammu and Kashmir are also benefiting from this particular scheme. Here's a ground report from Jammu and Kashmir.
Farmers of Riasi district in Jammu and Kashmir are being benefited from Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana. Naresh, a farmer in Patta village of Riasi district, says that earlier he was forced to borrow money to buy seeds and sow crops, but things have changed now. Through the financial support he is getting under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, he is no longer forced to borrow money from anyone. This has instilled a sense of freedom in him. He is grateful to the Prime Minister for this initiative for the welfare of farmers.
Earlier, I was forced to borrow money to buy seeds and sow crop, but things have changed now.
पहले हमें बीज की परेशानी होती थी, खेल की परेशानी होती थी। अब सरकार ने हर एक जिम्मेदार के खाते में 2-2 हज़ार रुपये, साल के 6,000 रुपये डाले हैं और हमें इसकी परेशानी कम आती है।
There are many others like Naresh and Riasi who are getting financial support under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. The scheme is a commendable initiative by the government towards achieving the dream of doubling farmers' income by 2022. Bureau Report, DD News.
Well, time now to take a look at the weather in your city. Well, before we end this edition of Breakfast Show, we leave you with a positive thought to kickstart your day. Fear has two meanings: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. Our image of the day, art exhibitions by the Divyang artists in Delhi. Take a look, smile, stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.